Exposed in the rain, how 37 miles alone revealed an incredible, life-changing truth about love. Sarah tightened her grip on the worn strap of her duffel bag, her heart pounding to the rhythm of the pouring rain. Each step felt like a drama unfolding, every drop echoing the weight of her struggles and dreams. Out here, 37 miles stretched before her, a distance filled with doubt, heartache, and the remnants of the life she once envisioned. As a waitress in a tiny diner, she served up smiles and hot meals while wrestling with hidden fears. All she wanted was a brighter future for her son, Joey. The weight of economic despair sat heavy on her shoulders, a constant reminder that the American dream was slipping further from her grasp. The thought of Mike, her high school sweetheart turned big city success, tugged at her heart like an old song. He had left for a bigger life, leaving her to pick up the pieces. Joey's small voice echoed in her mind, filled with resentment toward the father who had chosen wealth over family. The tension clung to the air like the impending storm. Decisions loomed larger than life itself. She was torn between loyalty and the hope of what could have been, an all-too-familiar feeling that felt just as heavy as the clouds above. As rain hammered down, she heard a rustle nearby. A friendly face from the diner, Mr. Jenkins, stood under an awning, frowning in concern. "Sarah, what on earth are you doing out here?" he shouted over the wind. "You know the storm's just gonna get worse." "Going to the hospital," she replied, her voice barely a whisper against the rain. It was in that moment of shared worry that Sarah felt a flicker of connection. She shared her estranged father's illness with him, and he nodded knowingly. "You're stronger than you think, Sarah. Just like your dad." She felt a wave of warmth wash over her. Sometimes the simplest words held the most weight. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Determined, she pressed on. Each mile seemed to paint a picture of a life she had yet to understand. As she trudged through mud and rain, she met Mrs. Thompson, who shared a story about her late husband. They made it through the toughest of times. There was a beauty in the pain they all carried, a reminder that resilience was at the heart of every small-town story. As she neared the hospital, her heart began to race again, tangled emotions surfacing. The looming approach of the heavy clouds mirrored her fears, but amidst her turmoil, she couldn't shake the idea of Mike. Just as she reached the hospital entrance, the wind howled, and out of nowhere, she saw his familiar figure sprinting towards her. They stood there, drenched and raw beneath the stormy sky, a mixture of hope and despair in their eyes. Sarah blinked against the rain, feeling vulnerable yet empowered. What would this moment mean for them? With feelings unresolved and the storm continuing to rage around her, she faced a decision that could redefine her life. Would she dig into the pain of the past, dare to confront her father, or follow her heart back into the arms of the boy she once loved? The answer felt just beyond her reach, lingering in the air like the scent of rain on thirsty ground. The wind gusted, swirling water around their feet, but the storm was nothing compared to the tempest within Sarah. Mike's dark hair was plastered to his forehead, droplets falling from his chin like little crystals. His eyes, usually so bright, looked shadowed with worry. "Sarah, I didn't think I'd see you here." "What do you mean?" she replied, her voice catching. "You didn't anticipate I'd finally bring myself to face my past." The words were sharper than she intended, a sting of anger rising. She didn't want to show weakness. "Not now." His expression softened. "I didn't mean it like that. I just wish I could have been here sooner." The honesty in his voice peeled back layers in her heart, revealing old wounds. The rain fell harder, drumming a chaotic beat that quickened her pulse. She couldn't ignore the warmth that wrapped around her, a flickering flame in the icy embrace of the storm. "Why did you come back, Mike?" She brushed the rain from her face, feeling defiant. "Isn't your life in the city everything you dreamed of?" "I thought it was." He took a step closer, soaked but earnest. "But something was missing. It took me so long to realize it was you." And Joey. That name hit her like a blow, reminding her of the little boy waiting anxiously at home. Guilt coiled around her stomach. You left us, Mike. It's hard to forget that. I know. His voice shook. I made a mistake. I wanted to build a future, but I forgot to build a family along with it. I came back because I want to try. Voices from the hospital entrance broke the moment. A nurse hurried past, and Sarah felt the weight of her reality smash into her. I'm here for my dad. I can't think about us right now. The spark between them felt like too much to bear. Mike's eyes searched hers, desperation mingling with hope. Let me go with you. She hesitated, her heart struggling to keep up with her mind. The thought of allowing him back into her life felt wild. Yet, tethered by the shadows of her father's illness, she couldn't shake the flicker of possibility that hand in hand, they could heal a bit of their past. All right, she finally said, the word tasting sweet and bitter in her mouth. But just for today? He smiled, and while it sparked something deep within her, every moment still felt like walking on a tightrope. They made their way inside, the fluorescent lights buzzing overhead cutting through the gloom. It was so stark compared to the storm outside, but their surroundings felt charged with unspoken feelings. As they walked down the sterile halls, Sarah's mind raced. The familiarity of the hospital echoed with memories of a younger her, once filled with endless dreams, now suffocated under a weight of longing. Just as they drew close to her father's room, Mike caught her arm gently. Sarah, if we have a chance to talk later, I need to tell you something, he said, the sincerity in his eyes grounding her. What's that? The truth about what happened, about why I really left. Her breath caught in her throat. Was she ready for this? The prospect felt both terrifying and freeing. She wanted to know, but the thought of the pain made her weak. Yet, curiosity tugged at her heart like a child pulling at a sleeve. I'll listen, she replied, resolve hardening inside her. With each moment, the stakes felt higher, and the storm still pirouetted in her chest. There was no turning back now. The door to her father's room loomed ahead, but so did the door to her past, and maybe a chance at a brighter future with Mike. What truth awaited her on the other side? The door stood there, heavy and imposing, like a gate to the memories she tried so hard to keep at bay. As Sarah turned the handle, a rush of familiar smells enveloped her, antiseptic, faintly floral. Her heart raced. Just inside, the soft beeping of machines and the occasional shuffle of nurses echoed in the sterile air. Dad, she called softly as the door swung open, her voice small against the backdrop of the hospital's hum that he lay there, frail and old, but a flicker of recognition danced in his eyes as they settled on her. Sarah, he whispered, his voice hoarse but warm. I'm here, she said, stepping forward, but the feeling of Mike standing behind her held her back. She needed this moment, just her and her father, without the weight of their shared past crashing in. Sit with him, Mike murmured, his tone gentle. I'll wait outside. With a brief, grateful nod, she slipped into the room, the door closing behind her like a curtain. For a moment, all that existed was her dad, pale and fragile, and the memories that unraveled. Time spent playing catch, nights balancing his demands with her dreams, laughter around the kitchen table, such vibrant moments now dulled by the hard realities of life. Hey, Dad, she managed, forcing a smile despite the tightness in her throat. He reached out a trembling hand, his fingers ghosting over her cheek. I missed you, kiddo. The words were barely above a whisper, but they wrapped around her heart and squeezed. I missed you too. Tears threatened, but she blinked them back. She had to stay strong for him. Been a rough couple of months, huh? He asked, his gaze shifting from hers to the window, the gray sky a fitting accomplice to their mood. Yeah, but we'll get through this, Sarah said, her voice steadying. We always do. Her father nodded, though an unspoken worry lingered behind his eyes. It's just he hesitated, catching a breath. I worry about you, Sarah. About your future in him. Dad, please, she swallowed hard. She didn't want this today, not with everything else in front of her, but he wasn't backing down. You can't keep pretending everything's fine. You're carrying so much weight. You need to have your heart in the right place. There was the invitation to open old wounds. Her thoughts drifted to Mike waiting outside, carrying his own ghosts. Sensing her inner turmoil, her father squeezed her hand. Is it time to talk? Her thoughts raced, and she looked away, settling on the storm outside, both familiar and threatening. I'm scared, she admitted, the rush of vulnerability spilling out. I don't want to feel all of this. It's easier to push it down, you know? The reality of his failing health brought everything crashing down the past. The mistakes, the choices left unmade. You don't have to face it alone, he said softly. You've got people who love you, including Mike. At the sound of his name, she felt a rush of adrenaline. Could she truly let someone back in after all that had happened? Just as the thought settled, the door creaked open again, and Mike stepped in cautiously. The look he gave her dad was both respectful and filled with something deeper compassion. Do you want me to leave? He asked, his eyes darting to Sarah, gauging her expression. No, she said quickly, the word rising in defiance of her fears. Stay? Her father's smile widened, the warmth in the room shifting. The flicker of hope mixed with uncertainty re-entered with Mike's presence. Perhaps they could bridge the gaps of the past together. If only she could peel back the layers of hurt, find solace in honesty. Dad, there is something I need to discuss with both of you. The words trembled on her lips, heavy yet necessary. As she looked at them both, a storm of emotions brewed, a mix of fear, anticipation, and a sliver of hope that maybe, just maybe, speaking her truth could start to mend the broken pieces of her world. What were they all about to uncover together? The silence in the room thickened just before Sarah spoke again. Her dad's eyes remained locked on hers, filled with a blend of worry and encouragement. Mike shifted slightly, taking a seat at the edge of the bed, offering his presence as a silent promise of support. Dad, there are things from the past that keep coming back, things I haven't dealt with. Her voice wavered, but she pressed on. I thought by keeping it all inside, I could just move on, but I can't. Not anymore. Not with everything that is happening. Her father frowned, his weathered face etched with concern. What are you trying to say, Sarah? I mean things about Mom. About our family. The words spilled out faster now, mixing with her breath. And Mike, and how I've been pushing him away, trying to protect myself. I don't want that anymore. Mike's presence beside her felt both reassuring and intimidating. She could feel his energy like a lighthouse shining through the dark. Sarah, I just want to be here for you, he said softly, his eyes searching hers. You don't have to go through this alone. Taking a deep breath, she faced the storm brewing in their shared silence. I'm scared of losing you. Scared of letting anyone in after everything that happened with Mom. Scared to love again. Her father's eyes filled with understanding. You don't have to carry that fear alone. It's understandable. But Sarah, life is about taking risks. You can't hold back your heart because of what happened. I know, she whispered, tears threatening to spill. But how do I trust again? How do I open up after the pain? The first step is honesty, he replied gently but firmly. Share what's in your heart. Share the fear, the feelings. You don't have to be strong all the time. As her father's words resonated within her, something within Sarah shifted. Looking at Mike, who remained steadfast by her side, she felt a sense of hope creeping through the heavy clouds in her mind. I want to try, she said, her voice steadier now. I want to be honest, not just with myself but with you, Mike. I need you to know I care, and I'm scared, but I want you in my life. Mike reached out, taking her hand. The simple gesture felt grounding, and she squeezed back, feeling newfound resolve. Then let us start here, he said. Take it one step at a time, together. But before Sarah could respond, a loud crash of thunder shook the room. The storm outside unleashed a torrent of rain, matching the sudden rush of emotions within her. It felt like the skies were weeping alongside her. Maybe this is a sign, her father said with a slight smile. Cleansing. Washing away what doesn't belong. It's a fresh start. Sarah looked out the window, watching raindrops race against the glass. A wave of liberation washed over her. Maybe this was it. A chance to confront the shadows once and for all. But there was still so much to untangle. What if there's more? She asked softly, the weight of uncertainty still heavy in the air. What if I uncover more than I'm ready for? Then we'll face it together, Mike assured her, his voice steady. Together, she echoed, but doubts still lingered at the edges of her mind. The more she peeled back, the more terrifying the truth felt. As the rain fell harder, Sarah pulled in a deep breath, her heart racing once again. Was she truly ready to untangle the past? Implicitly trusting the two men before her with her innermost fears. With that thought, she drew on every ounce of courage built from years of heartache and love. Okay, she said finally, her voice a little more firm as she took a deep breath. Let us talk about Mom. The moment hung in the air, a mix of hope and trepidation, as they all prepared to face the storm together. What secrets would they uncover, and could they handle the truth that lay waiting in the heart of their family's history? The rain drummed insistently against the window, a steady countdown to revelation as Sarah settled deeper into the embrace of uncertainty. My mom, she began, her voice barely above a whisper. I've been thinking about her so much lately, about how she always seemed so distant, even when she was right beside us. Her father nodded, encouragingly, his gaze softening. Your mother, she had her struggles, but you have every right to feel the way you do. I remember her laughing, but I also remember the nights when she'd just sit in the dark, staring out the window, Sarah continued, an ache tightening in her throat. I thought maybe if I didn't think about it, it would just, I don't know, disappear. Mike shifted closer, his hand still holding hers. It's okay to have those memories. They're part of you, part of why you're so strong. But you have to let them out to truly move forward. The thought of letting it out made her stomach churn. What if it hurt more to talk about it? She could feel the knot tightening. I always felt like I had to be the strong one. I didn't want to see her struggles. It scared me, Sarah confessed, her voice shaky but resolute. Her father sighed deeply, memories flickering in his eyes. Strength doesn't mean holding everything in, sweetheart. It's okay to be vulnerable, especially in front of those who care about you. Then why does it feel so hard? She asked, pain pooling in her chest. Why does vulnerability feel like walking into an open field in a storm? Because storms can be dangerous, Mike replied, squeezing her hand. But they can also pass. Finding safe ground requires facing the storm together. We can weather it. With a shuddering breath, Sarah began to unearth more memories, sifting through the fragments of her past. She used to have this song she'd play. You Are My Sunshine. I remember her singing it to me when I was little. Tears began to spill freely now, slicing through the tension. When she sang, she looked so alive. But when she stopped, her voice cracked. It was like she faded, like a balloon losing air, and I never knew how to bring her back. Sarah, you're bringing her back now, her father reassured her, his own emotions catching in his throat. You are remembering her, not just the smile but the sadness too. It's part of who she was. Part of who I am, she whispered, feeling swept up in the bittersweetness of it all. The recognition of pain was painful, yes, but liberating in an unexpected way. I've wrapped myself in this wall, thinking it'd keep the hurt out. But really, it just kept me from feeling anything real. The storm outside raged on, pounding down like her heart. What if I'm still stuck inside that wall? Mike rested his forehead against hers, the warmth of his worry merging with hers. You're breaking through, Sarah. One word at a time. With those words echoing in her mind, Sarah felt a flicker of light. Okay, I want to remember her, to embrace everything. The laughter, the pain, the fear. Just as she was about to continue, the doorbell rang, echoing through the charged atmosphere. They all exchanged glances, uncertainty rippling across their expressions. Who could that be? Her father questioned, but his voice hinted at a curiosity Sarah shared. I don't know, but what if it's something that changes everything again? Sarah replied, heart racing, anxious to see what awaited them on the other side of that door. As the ring of destiny reverberated through the air, Sarah felt both dread and excitement. Would the next moment pull them further into the past, or offer a new path toward the future? With a tentative glance toward Mike and her father, she knew the answers might just lie on the other side. The doorbell rang again, a sharp cut through the tension. Sarah's heart raced, each beat echoing in her ears. She glanced at her dad, then at Mike, searching for reassurance in their faces. But they mirrored her own uncertainty. What if it's bad news? Sarah blurted out, anxiety twisting her stomach. Or it could be something good, Mike countered, a hopeful glimmer in his eyes. He rose from the couch, motioning for Sarah to stay put. I'll get it. As he approached the door, the rain outside intensified, drumming against the window like a prelude to something monumental. Sarah sat frozen, thoughts whirling. Was she ready for something to change? Mike reached for the door, hesitating for a split second. Then he opened it wide. A gust of wind surged through, bringing with it an unexpected visitor. Jess. Sarah gasped. It was her childhood friend, Jess, drenched but smiling. Her vibrant hair clung to her face as she brushed it aside, revealing a determined grin that matched the spark in her eyes. I thought I'd find you here. Mind if I come in? Why, yeah, of course. Sarah stumbled over her words, feeling an odd mix of joy and disbelief. It had been years since they last saw each other. What are you doing in town? Long story, but I needed to see you, Jess exclaimed, stepping inside and shaking off the rain like a playful puppy. I heard about your mom. I'm so sorry. The atmosphere shifted. The warmth of Jess's presence filled the chilly room, mingling with the heaviness that still lingered with Sarah. Suddenly, the past didn't feel so far away. Thank you, Sarah replied, her voice steadying. She took a breath and turned to her father. This is my friend Jess. Nice to meet you, Mike said, extending his hand. I could say the same. Jess laughed, but her expression quickly turned serious. I've come to help, if you'll let me. We need to talk about your mom and about you. A knot of anxiety twisted in Sarah's gut. She wanted to embrace Jess, but felt too exposed. Help? How? Jess stepped closer, her gaze piercing but filled with compassion. There's so much I wish I could have told you before. So many things I've been holding on to. What do you mean? Sarah asked, feeling the rush of old memories and regrets overwhelming her. Things we never talked about when we were younger about your mom, our childhood, how it all tied us together and apart. Each word felt like a weight tossed into the storm brewing inside Sarah. She glanced at her father, who nodded subtly, encouraging, as if to say it was okay to dig deeper. What were you saying? Sarah's breath caught. Just come sit down, please, Jess urged, motioning towards the couch. There's so much to uncover. You don't have to do this alone. Sarah felt a flicker of hope battling the fear inside her. Every emotion she had been stifling began to crack the surface, ready to spill over. It was undeniable. The past was calling, unearthing bonds that had faded away. Okay, let us talk, Sarah finally said, her voice raw but resolute. As they settled onto the couch, she could feel the warmth of connection. The gravity of what might unfold brought a nervous thrill. Jess leaned in, a shadow of sorrow crossing her face. You're not stuck at all, Sarah. There's a world you've yet to explore, and I think your mom would want that for you. The rain hammered on, echoing the tumult of emotions below. Sarah realized this moment could either plunge her deeper into the storm or finally set her free. What do you mean? She asked, filled with anticipation. Jess hesitated. What if I told you that your mom left something behind? Something that could change everything? A ripple of dread mixed with curiosity surged through Sarah. What revelation could possibly lie ahead? With her heart racing, she braced herself for the storm to break. And as it did, she hoped it would guide her home. Jess's expression deepened, capturing Sarah's full attention. The air crackled with unspoken memories, shadows from their shared past swirling around them. Sarah's heart echoed the rhythm of the falling rain, a percussion that seemed to mirror her rising anxiety and eagerness. What did she leave? Sarah finally whispered, her voice trembling as the words felt heavy on her tongue. Jess took a deep breath, gathering the courage to share. It's a box, a keepsake. I saw it once when we were kids, just before things got complicated. She glanced at Mike, gauging his reaction, then back at Sarah. Your mom thought it was important. She told me it contained things that would help you understand her better, and maybe help you move forward. Move forward? Sarah echoed, feeling a flutter of panic and hope mingling within her. What do you mean by that? Jess sighed, the weight of her words pressing down like the rain on the roof. Your mom didn't just leave you. She left a part of herself behind, stories, hopes, and some regrets. But most importantly, she wanted you to know that you are never alone in this. She loved you so much, and there is so much more to understand than just the end of her story. Silence filled the room, thick and heavy, as Sarah tried to process Jess's revelation. She felt a rush of warmth mixed with coldness wash over her. The distance to the truth felt daunting, yet invigorating. I can help you find that box, Jess offered, leaning closer, her voice lower and reassuring. We can do it together. I know it's been a long time since we hung out, but I promise you'll be glad you did this. I want to, but where do we even start? Sarah felt a lump in her throat. The thought of unearthing so much history was terrifying, but something inside her craved it an answer, a path, relief. Your mom kept it at our old spot, Jess recalled with a hint of nostalgia in her smile, light breaking through the stormy clouds of the conversation. Remember that tree behind the playground? It was our secret hideaway. Yeah, Sarah said, her memories flooding back. She could picture it now, the gnarled trunk, the way it creaked in the wind, a fortress for their secrets. We buried some of our treasures there exactly. I think she might have hidden it there, or at least left a clue, Jess said, a glimmer of excitement in her eyes. We could go check tomorrow, if you're up for it. Tomorrow. The word hung in the air like a possibility. Sarah felt anxious. The thought of reliving old memories filled with raw emotion. But entwined with that anxiety was a sense of purpose. If her mom had left something behind, wasn't that worth facing her fear? I want to, Sarah said tremblingly, her heart echoing with determination. But what if it's not what I hope it is? Then we face that together, Jess replied firmly, her gaze unwavering. But what if it gives you peace? What if it changes how you view everything? You deserve to know her truth. The rain began to taper off, leaving a quieter, softer sound behind. A calm crept into the room, wrapping around them like a blanket. Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the weight on her shoulders shift just a little. Okay, she said, barely above a whisper. Let us do it. As the air thickened with anticipation, Jess reached out and squeezed Sarah's hand. No more alone, right? We're in this together. Just as relief started to settle, an ominous rumble of thunder interrupted their moment, sending a shiver through Sarah. Do you really think there's something worthwhile waiting for us? She asked, uncertainty creeping in once again. Jess grinned, her spirit lifting the stormy skies. What I know for sure is that whatever it is, it will lead you to the answers you need. Are you ready to take that leap? The weight of tomorrow loomed large, and Sarah felt nerves flutter in her stomach. This change wouldn't come easy, but deep down, she knew it was what she had to do. Could she really face her past and emerge with new hope? As the rain slowed to a mist, Sarah caught the depth of Jess's promise. A journey, a treasure trove of understanding waiting to be uncovered. Would tomorrow be the day she finally grasped the truths buried deep within her family's history? Something was stirring within her that hinted at a long-awaited transformation, just out of reach. Smiling weakly at Jess, Sarah breathed deeply, brimming with uncertainty and anticipation for what was to come. Every ticking moment felt both an end and a beginning. The doorbell rang again, startling them. What now? The sound of the doorbell echoed through the quiet room, cutting through the thick tension that hung between Sarah and Jess. Sarah's heart raced at the sudden interruption, her emotions swirling like the storm outside. She hesitated, exchanging a glance with Jess, who raised an eyebrow, clearly just as curious. Do you want me to get it? Jess asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Sarah nodded, feeling a mix of dread and curiosity creeping in. Yeah, maybe it's just a delivery or something. With a deep breath, Jess went to the door, while Sarah remained rooted in place, her thoughts tumbling over one another. What if this was a sign? What if tonight held more surprises than just memories of her mother? Jess opened the door, revealing a stranger standing in the rain, illuminated by the soft glow of the porch light. He looked familiar, but also somehow different. A moment of recognition lit up Jess's face, her mouth falling slightly open. Ben? She exclaimed. Sarah felt like the air had been knocked out of her. Ben, her old childhood friend who had vanished suddenly years ago. Memories of running through the neighborhood, carefree laughter, and whispered secrets rushed back. Why was he here now? Ben spoke, his voice thick with emotion. I'm sorry for just dropping in like this. I had to see you, and Sarah. The mention of her name jolted Sarah into action. She stepped forward, her heart racing with unanswered questions. Ben, what are you doing here? After all these years? His eyes softened. I heard you were back in town and thought this was the best time to talk. The moment felt charged, and Sarah's thoughts flashed to her mother's box. What if tonight was layered with more than just the past? What if Ben held another piece of the puzzle? Talk, Jess echoed, a note of skepticism weaving into her tone. After all this time, why now? Because Ben hesitated, taking a step closer, his gaze earnest. I didn't know how to say it before. About your mom, Sarah. There's something I need to tell you. That single sentence reverberated within Sarah, sending a chill down her spine. The box and the hidden memories waiting in the tree. And now could it be a coincidence? Or was fate pushing her to uncover the truth of her mother all at once? What do you know? Sarah pressed, her heart pounding wildly in her chest. She could feel the weight of the past pressing down on her, wrapping its tendrils around her hopes. Ben glanced toward Jess, who shook her head slightly, sensing the urgency. The rain picked up again, tapping against the roof in a frantic rhythm, mimicking the chaos inside Sarah's heart. I heard things, Ben continued, his voice dropping to a whisper. Things about your mom that changed everything. I thought it was too painful to share, but if you want to know, yes. Sarah exclaimed, desperate for answers, the burning need for understanding igniting within her. I want to know everything. Jess's grip tightened when Sarah reached out for her hand, the warmth of their connection providing an anchor amidst the storm inside. With hesitation, Ben stepped further into the house, the rain-soaked world falling away behind him. Let us sit down. You need to know the truth about what happened. A flash of fear and excitement surged through Sarah. This was it, the moment she had been waiting for. The truths that had been buried in the depths of her past were rising, and each revelation might move her closer to understanding who her mother really was. But even alongside that hope, a nagging doubt crept in. What if the truth shattered everything she believed? What if it only added to her burden? Ben opened his mouth, steeling himself to share secrets that had long been held in silence. Sarah, your mom. The sudden crack of thunder interrupted him, matching the turmoil in Sarah's mind. She tightened her grip on Jess's hand, bracing for whatever was to come next. Would the revelations lift her or pull her deeper into darkness? Your mom was involved in the room, seemed to hold its breath, and Sarah felt both terrified and ready. What awaited them on the other side of this storm? The truth was on the horizon, and she could almost taste it. Would she be able to handle whatever was about to unravel? Your mom was involved in something dangerous, Ben finally blurted out, his eyes darting to Jess before returning to Sarah. He looked like he was wrestling with his words, unsure of how to soften the blow. Sarah's stomach twisted. Dangerous? What do you mean? She demanded, unable to mask the tremor in her voice. Ben took a deep breath, the weight of his thoughts palpable in the air. I didn't want to believe it at first. We were kids, you know? But as we got older, I began to see the signs, things that didn't add up. He shifted closer, and Sarah could see the sincerity flickering in his eyes. I overheard conversations. There were whispers about your mom's past, about debts and people she associated with. No, Sarah whispered, the panic swelling inside her. Memories of her mother's warmth and kindness surged forward, clashing with this unfamiliar shadow being cast over her memory. That is not possible. My mom loved us. She would never. Jess squeezed Sarah's hand tightly, grounding her in the moment. Ben, are you sure? She asked, her voice a mixture of concern and disbelief. Ben nodded solemnly, his brow furrowed. I'm as sure as I can be. After she left, there was talk in the neighborhood. Someone found out about her ties to a group that wasn't exactly reputable. I thought it was just rumors, but I found out later there was more truth to it than anyone wanted to admit. The rain beat down harder outside, and Sarah felt as if the world was closing in on her. She wanted to push this information away, wrap herself in denial. But here was Ben, the friend from her childhood, the one who had vanished for so long, bringing news she never asked for yet desperately needed. Why didn't you tell me before? Sarah's voice cracked, tears pooling in her eyes. Why now? Ben shifted uncomfortably. I thought it might hurt you too much. I didn't want to bring back old wounds, but I realized keeping it from you was wrong, especially now that you're back and looking for answers. The truth hung heavily in the air, and Sarah felt a tear escape, rolling down her cheek. What does this mean for me? For what I believed about her? I can't answer that, Ben said softly, stepping back slightly as if afraid the intensity of the moment would overwhelm her. You need to decide for yourself what this means. Jess's expression shifted, concern filling her eyes. Whatever it is, you're not alone in this, Sarah. We'll figure it out together, she assured, her tone steady and calm. Together, Sarah echoed, finding solace in her friend's words, though the path ahead felt murky and treacherous. The weight of the past seemed heavier now, suffocating almost, and yet an ember of determination flickered within her. She needed to know more. What else do you know? She pressed, her voice stronger now. Is there more about my mother? I want to understand, no matter how hard it is. Ben hesitated again, looking down as if gathering his thoughts, then met her gaze. There are stories, Sarah. Secrets entwined with things that happen right here in this town about choices she made that could explain everything. Tell me, she urged, her heart racing, anticipation swirling with fear. As Ben drew a breath, lightning flashed outside, illuminating his face for a brief moment. There was a reason she left, a reason she couldn't stay, a reason she never talked about. The air grew thick, the weight of the unknown pressing down, leaving Sarah torn between dread and the desperate need for understanding. Would this truth offer clarity or plunge her deeper into darkness? Ben started, but before he could continue, the power in the house flickered, and they plunged into darkness, the storm outside roaring like her tumultuous heart. Jess? Sarah whispered, holding on to her friend as the silence enveloped them, the tension crackling like electricity in the air. I'm here, Jess replied, steady and reassuring. But Sarah could hear the uncertainty in her voice too. In that pitch black, a chilling thought gripped Sarah. What if the darkness held more than just secrets? What if the truth was waiting to come out? But would it be her salvation or her undoing? Could she really face whatever came next? And outside, the rain continued to fall like cascading memories, each drop a reminder that some pieces of the past were buried deeper than she ever imagined. What awaited her in the storm? Then she breathed, hoping he would guide her through the chaos. She needed to know, was she ready for whatever came next? The storm roared outside, wild and unrelenting, mirroring the chaos inside Sarah's heart. The power flickered back on, but the once familiar light felt eerie under the circumstances. Her senses were heightened, and with each crack of thunder, she felt the weight of the moment loom larger. Sarah, are you okay? Ben's voice cut through the fog of anxiety wrapping around her. She took a deep breath and nodded, trying to steady herself. I need to hear the truth, she said firmly, surprising even herself at how resolute her voice sounded. Whatever it is, I want to know. Ben swallowed hard, the sincerity returning to his eyes. All right, your mom was in a bind. There were choices she made regarding a loan, a dangerous loan that tied her to people you wouldn't want to know. Sarah's mind raced. Her mother, her pillar of strength, reduced to desperation. What did she hid from them? Why didn't anyone help her? Why didn't she reach out? I think she was ashamed, Ben replied softly, looking away. She didn't want to burden you with her struggles. The truth scared her, just like it scares you now. Tears welled in Sarah's eyes. I never thought of her that way. She was always so strong. That's the thing about strength, Jess interjected, her voice steady as a rock. It doesn't mean they aren't hurting. Sometimes, it hides the pain deeper. Sarah absorbed Jess's words, the weight of understanding beginning to shift the atmosphere around them. What else? Sarah pressed, her heartbeat thrumming. What happened next? Ben glanced at Jess, then back to Sarah. After your mom left, there was some talk, a warning, really. They'd come looking for her. It wasn't safe. That's why I think she felt she had to go. It wasn't a comfort. But now it made a twisted sense. The silence her mother had enforced, the flares of anger when secrecy clung to tiresome topics. Sarah blinked away more tears, feelings of betrayal intertwined with sorrow. What do I do? She questioned softly, her voice a whisper, the emotional weight threatening to crush her. How do I process this? Just take it one piece at a time, Jess urged. You've always been grounded in love, Sarah. You have your father, Mike, and me. This doesn't change the fact that you are loved. Sarah looked to Mike, who stood by the doorway, allowing them space, yet offering silent support. She drew upon the steadiness in his eyes, lending strength as she gathered her thoughts. I want to find her box, she declared, heart racing again, a clarity settling into her chest. I want to know all the secrets, the good and the bad. I won't run from it anymore. Yes, Jess exclaimed, a spark igniting in her gaze. That's the spirit. We'll dig together. We'll uncover everything. That's the spirit. Mike echoed, smiling gently. You're ready to face what's ahead. We'll be here, every step. The rain started to lighten, falling softly now, the storm outside beginning to ease as the storm inside her started to settle. Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the emotions swirl in a dance, fluttering from fear to hope to determination. Okay, she said, newfound fire sparked within her heart. Tomorrow, we'll go to the tree. We'll unearth the past together and take back what belongs to me. Ben nodded, an expression of respect washing over him. I support that. Your mom wanted you to know her, and this might just be the key to your healing. As the weight began to ease, Sarah realized how far she'd come. Amidst the pain of discovering these truths, she felt buoyed by the love her mother carried, the knowledge that nothing could overshadow it. Tomorrow would be the day they dug into the past. She could feel it etched in the air, anticipation rippling among them. Whatever is in that box, and whatever I find with it will shape my future. I'll reclaim my story. The room filled with a newfound energy, buoyed by shared resolve. They defaced the storm together, uncovering past layers with courage and love lighting the way ahead. As they stood together, Sarah allowed a small smile to erupt, gratitude swelling inside her chest. Lightning flashed again, but this time it illuminated hope instead of fear. It was as if the universe was smiling back, and in that fleeting second, Sarah felt invincible. Let us get some rest. Tomorrow's a big day, Jess said, squeezing Sarah's shoulder, a camaraderie forming in their bond. Together, Mike murmured, holding her gaze, the connection deepened in silence. Together, Sarah echoed, feeling the storm inside her finally calm. The night faded gently, whispers of laughter mingling with the distant patter of rain as they prepared to face the dawn. You need to subscribe now, because tomorrow holds the key to a whole new journey. Don't wait, not even one more second to share this video. Send it to at least 5 friends who can support you through your transformations. Leave a like now and comment your feelings about this incredible ending. Your support is everything.